1 star. Just 3 minutes, and a courier's life turned into a sentence. Pickup at 6:47 p.m. The phone screen glowed in the half-darkness, as if it decided itself when the room was allowed to breathe. On Courier Jordan's profile, 1 star. A small mark, but impossible to look away. In the corner, the air conditioner rasped like it had been dying for 3 days straight. From the radio on the windowsill came the voice of a local host. "It's hot again today in Memphis, and I'm not just talking about the weather. Gas prices are like barbecue, grilling everyone alive." Jordan have listened while spreading out his collection of soda caps across the table. Red with red, blue with blue. A yellow one rolled off to the floor and froze under the chair. Yellow, like that star, he thought, and glanced back at the screen. The phone beeped. A notification lit up. "Your rating has dropped. Access to orders restricted." Jordan tapped support. A chatbot appeared. "How can I help you?" "I was 3 minutes late." 3? That shouldn't cost me my job." The reply came instantly. "Press agree if you disagree." Jordan stared at the words, as if waiting for a joke. But the bot was silent. The screen flickered again. "Your profile has been suspended." He set the phone down beside the caps. The air conditioner coughed once and went quiet. The radio host kept cracking jokes about heat and gasoline, while Jordan stared at the motionless screen. 1 star glowed alone, like a stranger's verdict no one intended to question. He picked up the yellow cap, turned it in his fingers, and tossed it back on the table. The click was dry, short. Silence rang. And in that silence, there were no explanations, no excuses, only a number on a screen that had already done its work. Jordan had spent the whole day darting around the city like a frying pan on fire. Memphis was melting. The asphalt shone with a greasy glare. The air quivered. His old Honda stalled and roared as if it too wanted to quit its job. The backpack smelled of noodles and chicken teriyaki, an order marked exactly by 6:45 p.m. He turned down a narrow street, but the navigator chirped cheerfully. "You've arrived nowhere." Road construction. A worker in a vest, chewing chips, waved a shovel. Detour around the corner, or straight ahead for a tip. Jordan cursed, spun the wheel, and circled the block. The clock read 6:44. His heart pounded like a taximeter. He reached the house at exactly 6:47. 2 minutes. In ordinary life, nothing. In the world of timers, eternity. He leapt out, almost dropping the bag, and rang the bell. A middle-aged woman in a floral robe opened. Inside, the oven beeped, and on her wrist, a fitness tracker blanked 6:45 achieved. She looked at him as if he'd arrived after a fire drill. "Sorry, traffic, construction, GPS," Jordan began. She raised an eyebrow, sighed, and opened her app. "Hot food is worse than cold truth, Mr. Jordan," he said, handing her the bag. "No need," she cut him off. "Cancel." Her finger tapped the screen. 1 star lit up instantly, without any drama.
Jordan stood with the bag like a waiter at an empty banquet. From inside came the smell of roasted meat. From above, the tracker flashed, ticking steps. She was already closing the door. But the food's hot. I can... Next time, on time. Click. The door slammed. The street buzzed again with heat. The phone beeped in his pocket. Your rating has dropped. Jordan stared at the screen, thinking that 3 minutes wasn't lateness. It was the new unit of life.
That evening, Jordan's kitchen was a warehouse of useless noises. The fridge hummed emptily. On the top shelf laid 2 eggs, a bottle of water, and a jar of soy sauce. From outside drifted the smell of ribs, his neighbor grilling in the yard, smoke with spices sneaking inside like mockery. The phone beeped. On screen, your rating has decreased. Access to orders temporarily suspended. Jordan hit support. The chatbot spoke brightly like a late-night host. Welcome. With us, delivery is always near. How may I help? Jordan typed, I was 3 minutes late. That's no reason to take away my work. Reply came at once. Thank you for reaching out. Remember, with our platform, you're always in good hands. Then, decision cannot be changed. He cursed and pressed call. Long rings. Finally, a woman's voice, tired and flat. Hello, Jorgen? Jordan, he clenched his teeth. I want to explain. Paper rustling on the other end. According to section... 4.2, you were deactivated. Thank you for staying with us. The line clicked dead. He slammed his fist on the table. The microwave lit up. 0300. He threw in the eggs, pressed start. Minutes dragged. At 0300, the display froze. Numbers wouldn't move. The timer mocked him. He yanked it open. Inside, raw eggs and steam. He opened the app again. Empty screen. No orders. A blank field, as if the city had erased him. Outside, the ribs' smell thickened. Neighbor is laughing. Jordan shut the window, but laughter seeped in anyway. The phone lay dark on the table. In its reflection, he saw himself, a man with no orders, no numbers, no future. For days, Jordan paced his apartment like an animal in a cage. The phone stayed silent. No orders appeared. Again and again, he reread one line in his history, the address marked exactly by 6:45. That house pulled him like a magnet. One morning, he pulled on his delivery jacket, though the job was already gone. Without it, he felt hollow. He fired up his motorcycle, coughing like an old man, and drove the familiar Memphis streets. Cafes where he once picked up orders flashed by, now belonging to others. The house stood quiet, neat, green curtains in the windows. At the gate sat a large Labrador, collar tag in bold letters, Prame. The dog barked once, then sat like a sentinel. Jordan climbed the steps and knocked. In the side window, a neighbor peeked with his phone, pressing the camera to the glass, whispering, "For the neighborhood chat, don't switch channels." The door opened. The woman, same robe, frowned. "You again?" Jordan said. 3 minutes. I lost everything because of them." She didn't move. On her wrist, the band blinked.
Understand, if I allow 3 minutes today, tomorrow my rosemary dies, then all discipline collapses. Jordan blinked, stunned. This is food, not a garden. She snapped and lifted her phone. Minutes later, sirens flashed. Police stepped out, lights in his eyes. One, a heavy man with a notepad, asked lazily, "Sauce spilled? Increases the motive?" The neighbor chuckled off camera. Jordan raised his hands. In their eyes, he wasn't a man, but a suspicious number. The dog barked once, as if sealing the moment.
That evening, Jordan turned on the TV and saw himself. The footage trembled, him on the sidewalk, hands raised. The caption read, "Georgian Miller, aggressive courier." The misspelling felt like mockery, as if it were someone else, not him. In the studio, the host with perfect hair explained, "This incident shows once again why delivery services require strict oversight." Her smile was as if she announced a sale. He muted the sound but opened his phone. A podcast played, a raspy host saying, "The Memphis Courier story is a clear case of numbers controlling lives." Then, seamlessly, "Brought to you by Barbecue Sauce Plus, the sauce that never lets you down." Jordan dropped his earbud, but the screen kept flashing. Memes spread. Freeze frame, his face caught blinking under police lights. Red arrow, caption, "Mayo Maniac." Another post, "Late, kill with sauce." The neighbor's video appeared too, his chuckling voice. "For the chat, look at him surrender, like it's a TV show." Later, a crew arrived at his house. A young reporter with a badge asked, "Stand a little angrier. We need B-roll for editing." "Are you serious?" Jordan asked. "Of course. The audience must feel tension." He turned away, but the camera clicked, catching his profile with a shadow across his face, making him look villainous. Jordan shut the laptop, but the noise never stopped. His story no longer belonged to him. Each retelling didn't just distort, it invented. Somewhere between sauce ads and memes, he understood. In the screen world, truth doesn't matter. Only how it looks paused. Within a week, Jordan stopped being a person. He became a topic for roundtables. On local TV, they dissected his case. At the table sat a platform PR rep, an activist holding a sign, "People over algorithms," and the county sheriff with a mug of coffee. The PR rep said evenly, "We always stand with clients. The incident was unfortunate, but rules apply equally." The activist cut in, "This is digital dictatorship. We must give voices back to people." The sheriff shrugged. "I just ask, was sauce spilled? If so, that's property damage." The studio laughed. To them, he wasn't human, but convenient content. In the city, people recognized him. Couriers on mopeds and bikes turned sharply away. He caught their fearful looks, as if his story was contagious. One guy stopped briefly, pizza box in hand. "Brother, stay strong," then left without waiting. Once, in a 24-hour shop, he met an elderly cashier with a long braid and giant glasses. She rang up cheap coffee and whispered, I'm always late. Nobody's died yet. She sold it at the old price, knocking a few cents off. That small kindness felt more real to him than all the news and panels. But that evening, he saw himself again on screen, now labeled Face of the Platform Economy Crisis. The host said his surname like a brand. Everyone spoke for him. Politicians, activists, bloggers. Jordan sat in the shadows, listening to borrowed voices, realizing he no longer existed. Only the symbol remained, useful for slogans, posters, debates. He looked at the coffee can. Its smell was bitter, but real. And in that moment, he understood. His life had become a backdrop, and his own voice was one no one intended to hear again. Morning in Memphis began with damp steam and car horns. On the sidewalk outside the house where it all started, someone had drawn a crooked star in chalk. Beside it, one star. A city worker in an orange vest hosed it down, washing the mark into the gutter. Nothing remained as if it had never been. Jordan rode in a taxi. The driver, silent in a baseball cap, kept glancing in the mirror. The car rattled over potholes. The radio played old blues. When the ride ended, the phone lit up. Rate your driver. Jordan's fingers hovered over the stars. He withdrew his hand, closed the app, slid the phone into his pocket. That evening he sat in his kitchen. On the table the microwave blinked. Timer at 03. He turned it on, and the numbers began to fall. 02, 59, 01, 27, 00, 45. He stared, unblinking. 0003. 0002, 0001. The screen clicked, then silence. The silence in the kitchen was thick, as if the whole city had stopped for a second, too.